Welcome to Alpha Insights. I'm Brittany. Today, we're digging into a rough monthly sales report out of Michigan and what it means for cannabis investors. Joining me is Tom, market commentator. Hey Tom, remember, if you have questions as we go, you can ask us at stockalpha.ai.
Thanks, Brittany. Good to be here.
All right, Tom, give us the headline. What landed in Michigan?
Michigan reported January retail cannabis sales of $226.8 million. That was down about 8% versus a year ago and down about 16% from December.
Oof, that's a pretty steep sequential drop. So, the real question here is, how worried should investors be?
Short answer, you should care, especially if a company has a big footprint in Michigan. Those declines cut into near-term revenue visibility for operators and can ripple into ETFs that track the sector. And to add to that, the medical channel numbers were striking. Medical sales plunged about 43% year over year to roughly $400,000. That suggests either a real shift in channel mix or reporting quirks.
Right.
Honestly, I was a bit surprised by how big the medical drop was. When one channel collapses like that, it can mask what's happening with consumers versus wholesalers or distributors.
So for listeners holding names like Curaleaf, Tilray, Green Thumb, or Trulieve, or that broader multi-state operators ETF, what should they do now?
First step, map out each company's exposure to Michigan. If a business earns a large share of revenue there, an 8% year-over-year slide and a 16% month-to-month drop can meaningfully hit guidance. Second, watch management commentary. Pricing, inventory levels, and whether sales shifted from adult use to medical or vice versa.
Interesting. Where else should investors be watching closely short-term?
Rhode Island is one to watch. Regulators are discussing awarding up to 20 new retail licenses, possibly by lottery, and selections could happen as early as May if they move quickly. That could be a regional growth boost, but timing and the final rules will dictate who benefits. Exactly. New licenses can ease supply constraints and open doors for local players or well-capitalized entrants. But licensing often creates winners and losers based on capital, local relationships, and permit terms.
Got it. There's also been talk about cultivation fixes, buying new gear, and so on. Does that actually move the needle?
No, not by itself. Two recent industry pieces drove home the point. Yield issues usually come down to execution, discipline, and basic growing fundamentals. You can't just throw money at equipment and expect margins to magically improve. So from an investor lens, focus on operators who show measurable cultivation metrics, grams per watt, harvest to sale times, and SKU rationalization. Those metrics tell you whether a company is tightening costs or just buying shiny toys.
Short reactions. Interesting.
Right.
Okay, practical checklist. What should listeners do this week and in the coming month?
1. Scan state monthly reports as they come out. See if Michigan is an outlier or part of a broader softening. 2. Monitor Rhode Island for license rules and timing. 3. Read company updates closely for pricing, inventory, and channel shifts. And 4. Favor names showing operational discipline over those promising quick fixes.
Any red flags that should lead someone to reduce exposure right away?
If a company can't explain its Michigan exposure, or management is vague about inventory and pricing trends, that's a red flag. Also beware if operators rely heavily on medical channel reporting, with sudden, unexplained swings. That can hide underlying demand weakness.
All right, time for closing takeaways. Tom, give us 2 or 3 things listeners should remember.
Sure. 1. Michigan's numbers are a near-term headwind. Reassess exposure to operators with big Michigan footprints. 2. Rhode Island licensing could be a catalyst, but outcomes depend on rules and timing. 3. Operational execution matters more than gear. Focus on cultivation metrics and cost discipline.
Great. Thanks, Tom. And quick reminder, if you have questions about anything we discussed today, you can ask us directly at stockalpha.ai. We answer listener questions live. And for more market insights, head over to stockalpha.ai.